In the 1980s, the chairs of the Republican and Democratic parties plotted to hijack the presidential debates away from the nonpartisan Independent League of Women Voters. They formed the Private Commission on Presidential Debates with the co-chairs of this newly formed private, not-for-profit corporation, all while being the chairs of the Republican and Democratic parties.
The announced purpose of the Commission on Presidential Debates was for the two major parties to permanently control the presidential debates. Except for 1992, with the inclusion of Ross Perot, the candidates of the two major parties have agreed in writing that no one else shall participate, and the Commission on Presidential Debates has been happy to oblige. That's why we only see and hear from the Republican and Democratic nominees, and why all third-party and independent candidates are excluded. We are missing the opportunity to hear from other differing viewpoints. Imagine how much broader the dialogue would be with the inclusion of third-party and independent candidates. New opinions and solutions could be offered and discussed. Changing the presidential debates could be one of the most important undertakings in America today.
The two major parties are becoming so much alike, and the American people know it. They want more choices. Maybe if we let other people participate in the debates, people will start believing that politics matter. Congressman John Lewis.
When it comes to our tax code, Governor Romney and I both agree that our corporate tax rate is too high. On energy, Governor Romney and I, we both agree that we've got to boost American energy production.
But I'm not going to reduce the share of taxes paid by high-income people. High-income people are doing just fine in this economy. They'll do fine whether you're president or I am. But the president mentioned a couple of other ideas I'll just note. First, education. I agree. The second area, taxation. We agree we ought to bring the tax rates down, and I do.
Governor Romney and I do share a deep interest in encouraging small business growth.
Well, Mr. President, you're absolutely right.
When it comes to corporate taxes, Governor Romney has said he wants to, in a revenue-neutral way, close loopholes, deductions, thereby bring down the corporate rate. Well, I want to do the same thing, but I've actually...
In an era when increasing numbers of voters are discarding old party loyalties, significant independent candidates have a claim on participation in the debates. David Broder of The Washington Post.
It was unprecedented in our nation's history to be engaging in a war and at the same time to grant tax cuts. We can cut down the costs of incarceration in this country, billions of dollars being wastefully spent.
Instead of bailing out Wall Street, who got us into this mess, we should be bailing out the students. Why should the millionaires, the super millionaires and billionaires be paying half as much as the people who work for them, their secretaries and janitors?
I'm the only candidate that wants to eliminate income tax, eliminate corporate tax, abolish the IRS, and replace all of that with one federal consumption tax, the fair tax.
The debates are part of the unconscionable fraud that our political campaigns have become. Walter Cronkite.
You said that we should still have troops in Iraq to this day.
There was an effort on the part of the president to have a status of forces agreement, and I concurred in that and said that we should have some number of troops that stayed on. That was something I concurred with. That was your posture. That was my posture as well.
My strategy is pretty straightforward, which is to go after the bad guys, to make sure we do our very best to interrupt them, to kill them.
What we need to do with respect to the Middle East is strong, steady leadership, not wrong and reckless leadership that is all over the map.
I just want to point out, President Obama actually worked very hard to extend the immunity of U.S. troops in order to prolong the war in Iraq. But the vast majority of the troops were removed from Iraq because the president's hand was forced, ironically, by a date of withdrawal that had been arranged by George Bush. So, strangely enough, it was George Bush who actually brought the troops home from Iraq under Barack Obama.
We cannot do, as Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan suggest, increase military funding by $2 trillion over the next decade. I support a strong defense, but we need to retrench rather than trying to be the policeman of the world.
We have to stop our military interventions. We have to stop with the drone strikes. We have to stop with a policy that has us with hundreds of millions of enemies to this country that but for these policies would otherwise not exist. It's a recognition that when we talk about foreign aid to other countries, it's propping up foreign dictators that are on our side as opposed to the other side.
Imagine if there had been a candidate included in the Obama-Romney debates to challenge our plutocracy, our government that is run by and for the benefit of monstrous corporations rather than in the interest of the people of this country.
Our democracy has been degraded by limiting the political discourse to two, often very same voices. The people of the United States are entitled to hear other very different points of view from experienced and publicly minded independent and third-party candidates. Those candidates offer a much broader discussion of the issues, challenges, and solutions. That diverse, informative dialogue is missing in the sterile, highly controlled presidential debates, now solely controlled by the Democratic and Republican parties and their candidates.